Hey, buddy.
What up, dog?
Um, I would appreciate it if you don't like make any of those noises that you were making prior to us recording again, ever, please.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I'd appreciate it if you shut your face. uh
Hmm.
yeah, I care about you. I apologize. I care about you. And if you choose not to forgive or move on, I'm sorry for you.
I feel like there's some conflict um arising.
Yeah. Yeah, you shared something today with me and I found it to be fascinating and coincidentally, uh I I was thinking through just from my where I used to be and where I am from a very specific standpoint, and that's how much it used to impact me. My emphasis is in the wrong syllable. How much it used to impact me that when when other people when I sense other people potentially mad or and a great example, I heard this on a podcast recently from Hormozy. He was like, none of my friends, Hormozy saying this, none of my friends are offended when we don't respond to a text immediately. He's like, all of us know that we're all busy and that we all care about each other and it's we will get like there's nothing personal about it and I heard that and I was like, oh, I love that, like, and I think what you and I were talking about before you record and you're going to shine light on as you become very vulnerable and expressive, if like my heart, Stu, my heart because I'm very vulnerable with you and I'm open about the things that are going bad and also how I feel about you, right? And so if there's room to perceive a slight, I would expect that you would perceive on the positive side, just left bubble of perception, you would perceive my actions from a positive perspective versus me trying to do something negative towards you. I would expect that because of our friendship and the level of vulnerability we share and this that we've established. What I've realized is that I have a lot of relationships that don't have all that. And I've also grown to a place where ultimately, if I express those things, like I care about you a lot, I think you're awesome. If I offended you, please let me know. I'm opening myself to that input. If that person doesn't choose to walk through that door, honestly, not in a negative way, but I just don't have time for that anymore because I have so many positive relationships. I'd rather invest in those places, which for me, my personality has significantly decreased the real and perceived conflict in my life, which has kind of been fascinating to me.
Yeah,
And then
man.
you said what you brought up today, and I'm like, oh, that's really weird. You just gave me a word picture. You gave me context to frame how I've been feeling recently because it's very liberating and very freeing.
Yeah, dude. It's a really interesting theory concept. I've been reading about it. So a mutual friend of ours, Kevin Goodnight, he's been on our podcast twice now. Super good dude. I was talking to him about fatherhood. I'm in a period where like I'm struggling a little bit as a dad. I have a 6 year old boy who's very headstrong. It'll be a great leadership quality later in life, but right now, like he challenges everything. If I tell him the sky's blue, he's going to challenge me and tell me that the sky's green. And so he wants to do everything himself, and he questions everything and asks why, and sometimes it's just exhausting. And oftentimes I don't respond in the way that I really probably should as a father. So, anyways, I was talking through that with Kevin, and Kevin recommended this book called "The World Needs a Father." By Cassie Carstens, and it's a fantastic book. It's pretty thick. I've been reading through it and highlighting and starring and underlining, so it's been taking me a while. But it one of the chapters talks about just relationships, right? And in relationships, there's conflict. And he gives points to this appendix. which explains this theory called the Johari window. And I'm just going to read from it, and then we can kind of explain it. And I did an actual social post on it and created a little YouTube video to explain it better. So we can put that in the show notes of this episode. But the Johari window was developed in 1955 with the hopes of lessening conflict. Their theory states that the smaller the arena is, the bigger the conflict. And there are two ways in which the arena can be enlarged: one, unmasking, and two, revealing the blind spots. So these two actions will bring about a much higher level of transparency. Higher transparency builds a much higher trust basis. And with that heightened trust, permission to be who you really are without any fear of rejection. Transparency should start with the Father. Where there is sincere integrity, fear subsides, transparency increases, real relationships are forged, and everyone gets to be who they really are, to be real. So to dive into that, so this is for anyone watching the YouTube video. Here's the Johari window. Again, I can post the YouTube link that kind of gives into this a little bit more. But to increase the arena, there's two areas of the arena: um, to know yourself and for others to know you. And so to increase that arena, you have to increase the knowledge about yourself and increase the knowledge of others know about you. And when you do that, that decreases the level of conflict. And that could be in anything. That could be in relationships. That could be in business. That could be in any area of your life that you want to become better at. The less conflict you have in that, the better you're going to be. And so, you know, when you think about that, you have to do two things. He said, unmask. To know more about yourself, you have to either unmask or find your blind spots, right? And so a lot of us wear these masks around every single day. And to unmask, that requires vulnerability. That requires opening up for a level of people to like dive in. And that's hard. And especially for men, I think is really hard. And then the other area is you have to expose yourself. You have to open yourself up for people to look in and find your blind spots, tell you where you're failing, tell you where you're faulting, because you can't see those blind spots. So either of those are really, really hard to do, but those are the areas that you must do to become better to decrease your conflict. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, dude. And I love what we do in the Kinetic Man is both, right?
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
do, I mean, as per ground rules for admittance, you have to be vulnerable and honest. And that vulnerability, opening yourself up to others, but also the honesty part of it is not just a how you express yourself and about yourself. It's also being able to be like, hey, dude, like I just want to be honest with you. I'm seeing this thing. You said this thing, and I just I feel like that's not congruent with what you express that you the person you want to be, the man you want to be. And I'll tell you a very practical way that this starts to manifest as you build your arena, as you expand it. Last night was a great example for me. Dude, my son was just being a giant turd bucket. It's time to go to bed. He was like being very defiant, saying no, and I was starting to lose my cool, and I stepped back, and I was like, what would a kinetic man do? but but it just it comes natural now, right? And so I was like, okay, there's gonna be a consequence, and so there was a consequence. I took some time away that he'll experience that today from something he wants to do. But then I gently put my arm around him. I guided him upstairs. He didn't resist it. Guided him upstairs, and I yesterday had some gross scruff thing that I put it down here like I had a giant goatee that was even possible. It wasn't that, but it was a lot of just scruff. And we started playing this game. Like I was like, okay, now I have to kiss you 100 times. He said no. He was being defiant. No, right? The no's from downstairs came upstairs. No. And I was playing this game. I basically said, okay, fine, 0 kisses. And as he's about to say no, um, oh no, as he's about to say yes to 0 kisses, I said 100, like real quick. And he said yes. And I started just like snuggling and kissing. And dude, it turned immediately into a fun game, and he didn't want to stop. Dude. We started playing for like 30 minutes. I was finally like, dude, we got to go to bed, man. But like it turned into something very different, just like that. And I guarantee you, if my arena was where it was a year ago, 6 months ago, especially 2 years ago, that would not have ended in a fun snuggle fest, kiss fight like thing. And Noah kept saying, he's like, okay, Dad, do it again. Like say 100, say zero. Like he wanted me to keep going. It was freaking awesome. But the arena, when you take it practically, when you look at the practical outflow of what that means, it's conflict. It's also conflict resolution because you're able to process things differently and you desire a different outcome. That also helps in your business, right? Like your business is significant benefactor of that. Your partnerships are benefactors of that. Your relationships are partners are benefactors of that. My relationship with my wife, I now when I'm like being salty and try to fight, like I choose to be that way. It's not a reaction. I'm choosing it. And I have to acknowledge I'm being a jerk, and it changes everything if I choose to act differently, right? And so I love this concept because it's so true that you can expand your arena, and as you do that, there is an outflow, there is a natural byproduct that is much more beneficial to your life, your relationships, your businesses, everything you do.
Yeah,
And you get
dude.
more kisses out of it, dude. More kisses.
I've never heard of someone doing a kiss fight. That's a new concept to me.
Dude, I
I
don't know
like that.
where it came from, but it's awesome. I was like, I'm gonna give you 1,000 kisses. And really it was yesterday in the moment, what it was born from was using uh his defiance in the moment, his desire to say no to everything I was telling him to make it fun, right? And to kind of turn it on him. And then and again, I've never done a kiss fight before. But like it opened the arena getting bigger, also opened the creativity in the moment to turn it into something very, very different than from where it started, right?
Yeah.
And my attitude was very different than to my traditional attitude would have been.
You should ask
And now
your
we have a new game.
you should ask your wife if she wants to do a kiss fight.
Yeah, I tried. She said no.
She said no.
She's like, no, go do a kiss fight with Noah. And what is that thing on your face? You need to shave that immediately.
Well, here's the other interesting part to this is that you can't do this alone. You can't open the arena, enlarge the arena by yourself. It requires other people. I mean, you can unmask, like you can take the mask off and be vulnerable, but if no one is there to see that and learn more about you to open up, in those relationships that you have, it really doesn't matter. And then to find your blind spots, that's why it's called a blind spot. Like you aren't going to see it yourself. You have to have somebody else in your life that's going to tell you what those blind spots are, right? So you have to open up. Either way, you have to remove the mask and let other people see you for who you are, or you have to open yourself up for other people to tell you who you are by telling you about your blind spots. And so I think a lot of people in life try to get through life on their own, right? Like I've done it, I did it in business for a while, trying to be a real estate investor by myself. I kind of sucked at it, and it wasn't really a whole lot of fun. And in relationships, I think men specifically, like they don't have any friends, right? They don't do anything fun. They just do family time and their corporate job, W-2, whatever, and they just go through life without any friendships, and they don't take the time to work on themselves by being around people and community in a tribe. And so I think that's a really important aspect of becoming better, becoming a better man, becoming a better person. And there's so much impact in relationships and in life if you do so.
Yeah, man. Love it. I love it. You gotta think differently. You got to act differently in order to truly be better. And if you continue to do the same things that you're doing, nothing changes. It's kind
You
of
can't
crazy.
you can't change without change.
Oh, dang. Without change, there's no change. Whew.
That's
Yeah,
philosophical.
that is a philosopher. Wow.
A
They're
what?
throwing out bad words here. A philosophizing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
We got to end
oh my
this.
goodness. Let's edit that. Let's edit that. Don't edit it. Love you. Keep it real. See ya.
Bye.